Hello, everyone. Let me start with a quick question. Who knows why today is a very special day? What's happening today? No. We're all here. That's much more important than this weird fruit company creating a new smartphone. I heard something about that. Okay, so let's start. So I'm here to talk a little bit about digital trends and breakthroughs. Obviously, it's a bit difficult to talk about breakthroughs because breakthroughs happen every day, disruptive new ideas. But I have tried to tackle down some of them in my short time of 35 minutes. So I will spend only 1 minute on this. So yes, I'm Tim. I'm married. I have 2 kids. I'm 36 years old. I'm the CEO of NetBooster Group, as you already know. I'm in digital since '98. I wouldn't say I'm an early starter, therefore I would have had to start 3 years earlier. But I started with these weird, like dialing up a number and then waiting to connect and nice sounds. So I was early, but not the earliest. I've worked on multiple big brands and tried to help them to develop a digital strategy in early days, but also still today, and from all different kind of verticals and industries. I'm a frequent speaker at different events, and I'm also, and that's actually my passion besides digital, I'm an investor in multiple companies. And ideally, I invest into companies with disruptive ideas. And I will talk about that later as well. The company I'm the CEO of, I inherited that position because I sold my business to this business. And then these guys asked me if I could do the same that I did for my business now for them. And luckily, I'm also shareholder of that business, so that does make sense for me. So the company is established in '98, so I relate a little bit to that, in Paris. But I don't speak French, so I'm the first CEO of this company, don't speak the language where the company is actually started. We are a full-service performance marketing agency. What does that even mean? So basically, how I explain it in a nutshell is we are selling products online. Whatever kind of product, as long as it's ethical, we try to develop a strategy to sell these products online. We are, as you already know, 450 dedicated people. We have around 20 offices around the globe, and we are listed in the French stock exchange. That's why I can't tell any secrets. But and we're the biggest independent performance agency in that space. I will talk a little bit later, a bit more about what that actually means. And we are seriously in love with what we do, because if you are digital, if you think about how can I enhance a product or enhance a business strategy for a client every day, you really need to love that. Because you have to tell people who have created a product maybe generations back and have to educate them how to do that now digital. And it might mean they have to change who they are today to actually attract the new generation that is fully digital. So you really seriously need to love that. But I would like to ask some questions before I start. I would like to understand a little bit more the audience and also use these questions to mirror back where digital is today. So first of all, if you can raise your hands for me. Who of you is using a smartphone on a daily basis? No one. That's weird. No, basically everyone, right? So, and who of you is using another device like a tablet as well? Okay, great. Who of you is spending more time in front of a TV than with your phone or tablet? We have to take a picture of this. Nobody, right? And who of you is also using a laptop or desktop computer for work? So I have seen mainly, basically all hands up, besides when I talked about TV. I think that's a clear indication what's happening, right? So digital is moving very fast. If I would say 50% or 60% of the people raise their hand on tablets, and all of them on laptop, desktop, and on smartphone. That means for me, at least 60% of the audience is using 3 devices at the same time. Just keep that in mind. I already explained that, sorry. So let's talk about some of the digital trends. For me, there is 4 main trends at the moment. Or let's say there's 4 main trends. Digitalization is not at the moment. It's going on for years. It's our new best friends. It's data and curation. Digitalization means connectivity. Thanks to digital, we are connected. Connectivity means accessibility. Thanks to being connected, I can access content, I can access information. And thanks to accessibility, there is change. Not necessarily everybody likes change. I'm German. Germans don't like change. Because they like processes, and they don't like to change processes. Why is that important? From my perspective, change is what it comes down to. What digital does to us, it changes our behavior. Or let's say, it's actually not correct. It doesn't change the behavior, it mirrors our behavior. Let's start with some marketing examples. So in a traditional sense, marketing used to be rather simple. I know a traditional ad agent guy would never comply, but from my perspective, it was pretty straightforward. You created awareness for prospects, consideration, preference, action, and loyalty. So you basically went through a funnel to do that. And ideally, a prospect became a consumer or a client. Digital has changed that a little bit, right? It became more complex. As Joe said totally correctly, it's not about, I show you a TV ad. If you don't like it, you press a button and you go. But most of you, I will definitely hit on a Sunday afternoon because you will watch what everybody watches. That is over, right? So people are browsing, they're surfing, they're doing multiple things all day long. They're spending more time on their connected devices than they do on TV. So how do I influence someone to become a customer? And there's also these weird people we really don't like, the contributors. People who change the mind, who add value to a conversation, or who change the opinion about things, or who rate things. Horrible from a traditional point of view. Right? We can't influence these people, we think. And additionally, everything is going digital. I mean, we have talked about smartphones, tablets, computers. TV, from my perspective, already is digital. I just made the example. I told Joe that I'm without internet in my house for 6 weeks, and my wife is ready to kill me, and my kids are rebelling, right? But I moved houses and I renovated, and so on. Long story short, we didn't have TV for 6 weeks, right? It's horrible. Because before, I streamed whatever I liked. And when my kids sit in front of the TV now, they say, I want to see Tom and Jerry again. I can't reverse, okay? This is TV. What does that mean? I can't choose what I want to see? Yes. They don't get it. It's exactly what you said. It's exactly like that. But TV, for a lot of countries, is already fully digital, right? Through your set-top box. Radio, from my perspective, I don't listen to radio anymore. I have playlists, right? Or random music based on my behavior on iTunes or my behavior on Spotify. This is the last result. I mean, I live in London, so there are fully digital ads already. They're not in real time. They're not changing their content in real time, but I've seen some, some companies have tested it already. I didn't take the picture, but there is a billboard where that's somewhere in the center of London, and whenever a BA flight, British Airways flight, goes on top of the billboard in the background, a little boy would get up, point at the flight, and it would say, this is BA flight to Barcelona, or whatever. It's obviously fake. I don't think it's real. But people are stunned. They look at the billboard and say, like, how do they do that? It's actually pretty simple. You get their data through an API, and then you change the content of the billboard. It's all digital already. And people are connected in real time. There's nothing like, oh, let's try a TV ad, and then, let it run for like a month or something like that, right? You get immediate response because people will sit in front of the TV and say, oh man, I'm bored, or something like that. So, and obviously they are available 24/7, and they expect that from you as a brand or advertiser or company as well. The worst thing is that somebody has a bad experience with your product and can't get in touch. I like to make an example here again. As you already figured, I'm a family guy. I think it's 14 people of my family, cousins and their kids and all. They're all going for a ski vacation in February to Club Med. You've heard of it, I guess, right? And every time on the weekend, my wife would tell me, you have to call them and figure out if you can still get a room for the ski vacation. Every time I pick up the phone, it's either after 7 or it's Sunday. So they don't pick up the phone on Sundays. And the mobile website doesn't give me any prices and no other contact than the number to call. So for 3 weeks, I didn't get to call them, and then obviously the rooms were booked. So this is really bad for customer certification, right? So they expect you, if you are online, they expect you to be there 24/7 as well. And also, if we want to make a prospect a positive decision for us, we need to consider that the product engagement funnel, how somebody gets to know your product, is also changing. It's not just somebody sees a TV ad, goes to the fridge and drinks a Coke. That's what we were taught. But it's become much more complex. We have so many different touch points, and we have to think about how do we, I don't want to say influence, but how do we put the right message through in the right moment when we actually want to give a message to the consumer. This also means business models have to change. And I think, I will make some examples later, but I guess you all know a couple of business models that have totally disrupted the market because they are fully digital and they are changing things like a fragmented market becomes accessible and transparent all of a sudden. It all has started, for example, with real estate in the beginning, right? Where you didn't need an agent anymore. You had sites where you could actually find your real estate and compare prices and areas and all this kind of stuff. So we already realized people spend more time on their connected device than on anything else. And they are everywhere, right? You will have the Google Glasses tryout. I'm lucky that I got 2 Google Glasses. I had to pay for them, don't get me wrong. And I'm passing them through the office at the moment, so I don't have one with me right now. But it's very interesting what you can do with that, and also very interesting how people look at you when you wear them. Right? But also cars are getting connected. I don't know how good, how much you know about cars, but BMW is very, very well connected. I think they built around 7 SIM cards in every car they built. And that's not including whatever, I think BMW Connect or something like that. So in each car, there's at least 7 SIM cards. So these SIM cards are constantly, I don't know, but I would expect they do something, right? They're not just there, sitting there. So one is obviously for security measures. If you crash your car, you can press a button and police knows where you are. But that is one. What is the rest doing? You know, is it giving my motor stats to BMW, or what are they doing with that stuff? So it's already connected. And as you know, most of the limousine services, like Uber or something, they have Wi-Fi on board for you. So cars are connected as well. So where are we headed? And I would like to show you a quick video. It's a bit old. I think it's from 2012. But I think it really summarizes quite good where digital is taking us in the future. So if you could play that video for me, that would be great. So this is a glass company who tried to, sorry. Thank you. I think this is enough. Hello? Thank you. So basically, why am I showing this to you? Because the centerpiece of all this, right? I mean, all this technology is, most of it, I would say, is already doable today. Just that fridge that shows pictures of your kids might cost $50,000 or something. But technically, it's already doable. And the centerpiece of all this is your smartphone, is your connected device, right? I especially like the scene where let's say they pick a product, and the moment she walks into the shop, there's a push notification on her smartphone and pushing that particular product to her, right? Because her data showed that she might be interested in it. So centerpiece of all this, of the connected world, is your smartphone. And smartphones are our new best friends. We keep them closer than anything else in the world. Sometimes I forget my wallet at home, but where's my phone, right? So it's the closest device we have with us at all times, and it's also the most private device we have with us at all times. That is why it's perceived very negatively if we get spam on our smartphone. If it's a text message or if it's kind of a push notification from an app we have installed like 2 years back or something like that. The interesting part is these connected devices and the data behind it. It allows us to do multiple things. Very personalized communication online as well as offline. For example, if you walk into a shop, and as you know, this weird food company from Cupertino has developed these iBeacons, where we already doing tests with some of our clients where we measure who enters a shop and walks around in the shop based on the Wi-Fi connectivity of their smartphone, because the Wi-Fi connectivity is always looking for another Wi-Fi to connect to, and we can measure that. Being around your favorite brands at all times, it enables you to interact with your favorite brands at any time. You can access the brand website, you can like them on Facebook. Basically, your favorite brands can be around you at all times. We can individualize products. I will come to that later. User behavior-based communication. For example, if you walk past the shop or if you always behave like that. Let's say I always go for a run on a Sunday. You know, Nike might find that interesting to push a shoe ad or something to me because of that. Connectivity between people, obviously, right? And instant customer feedback to optimize my experience, as well as real-time availability on products on a fingertip, like apps like Uber. They make a limousine service available on a fingertip immediately, on demand. All this is enabled by connecting the right dots of information, basically, right? So people tend to call that big data. I don't really like that word anymore because a lot of people, at least, I mean, as I said, I'm German, no? We're very data security cautious and all this kind of stuff. So I have a lot of discussions about that. So a lot of people think big data is evil because people are collecting stuff about me, and I don't like that. I don't feel comfortable in them knowing where I live. Oh, wait, I get spam mail every day. Oh, they already know where I live, right? So, but I don't like to call it big data anymore. I would like to call it data in general because it has nothing to do with big data. Yes, it's a big amount of data, but we have big capabilities to crunch data today. Because it's perceived as evil, or is sometimes perceived as evil because of the way we could use that kind of data. And obviously also because of Uncle Sam having used it. But for the generation younger than 25, they don't care. They don't feel that. They grow up in a digital world. In a connected world. They don't ask themselves that question necessarily. Right? For them, it's totally normal to have a Facebook profile, Instagram profile, and to be present in the outside world. Is it the real them? We might ask that question. Maybe not. But they are used to be connected at all times. And they're used to, as I made that example, watching TV and seeing a TV show you don't want to see. They're not used to that. Right? For them, not getting any kind of curated content based on their data and their behavior becomes unthinkable. They will get really, really annoyed. We just allow that because we grew up in an analog world. We are used to that. But they will not accept that. So if the way we talk to them as brands or as companies, if that doesn't change, we will have a problem. We will be replaced by people who do it in the right way. So the ethical usage of data creates the best customer experience. It will enable us to avoid spam, enhance our product experience, and also curate specific content just for our consumers. Let me make an example. If you go shopping on a Saturday, I take myself now. I have a girl and a boy and a wife next to me, and I'm carrying 2 bags, let's say Gap and some kind of grocery store, Whole Foods or something like that. I enter a shop. The salesperson immediately can evaluate what kind of person I am. Age, height, size, I have 2 kids. There's a wife, maybe she wears some boots, I don't know, and I have Gap and Whole Food. So they would not send me necessarily into, myself, into the girls section, right? And maybe I even know the salesperson because I've been shopping there before. Now imagine you go to a website. They will not know, are you male or female, how old you are. They will present you with stuff you don't want to see. So what we are used to, what we actually like offline in the normal world, that you do get evaluated to some extent in the beginning when you enter a shop, when you want to purchase something. That doesn't happen online. It only happens in big platforms like Amazon who have collected a lot of data about you, and you love it. People who have bought this has bought that. People like you have bought this. And it works. So data is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just about how you use it, right? So, okay, let's say we have understood that. What about some low-hanging fruits now for advertisers today? How can I use that? So I've tried to make some example. It's actually pretty simple. First of all, I always advise, look at your goals. What do you really want to achieve? Everybody wants to achieve, I want to be the biggest, the best, and I want to make a lot of money. Obviously, right? But let's drill this down when you think about your digital strategy and not thinking about what we saw in the video, where it goes in 10 years. What can we do today? So sit down and try to understand your audience. Try to put yourself into the shoes of your consumers, of your customers. What do they want? What's most important for them? I always try to, when I talk to CMOs, I always try to ask, what is more important for you? Are we talking about market share, efficiency, or loyalty? So, do you want to make more business? Do you want to make more money? Or do you want to create loyalty with your consumers? Because all these very 3 simple words create totally different audiences and also a totally different strategy for digital. 3 goals means 3 different strategies. Market share means new customers. So I have to do an acquisition strategy. I have to find new customers. Efficiency means, okay, I have a lot of customers already, but maybe they're not buying enough. Maybe my conversion rate is 1.5%. So 98.5% don't buy, but I've paid for them to come and buy, right? And loyalty is, I have existing customers, how can I reactivate them? How can I make them more loyal? Do I like my customers, or do I just want to sell one product once and then find new customers, right? So you need different strategies for that. For the first one, it's a pure acquisition strategy. How do I find new customers? For the second one is improving the conversion rate of my website, for example. And for the third, increase the customer lifetime value, or customer lifetime. 3 different strategies also mean 3 different audiences. And I've tried. It's very basic. It's kind of a blueprint we use. Obviously, it needs to be adjusted from case to case, but I've tried to put all the different digital channels, advertising channels, into one chart. I just explained that because I didn't have so much space on the slides. RTA and this. RTA is real-time advertising. This is display. I don't like the traditional media planning advertising that has been done the last 100 years. I do like the fact that we can buy the right ad in the right moment when we know the customer could be interested in what we are presenting. So I like real-time advertising. I like real-time display. This is the first one. Then search engine advertising is AdWords, for example, affiliate marketing, video advertising, social media, mobile, email, and search engine optimization. Some of the simple backbones of digital advertising. So if I have a pure acquisition strategy, a new customer strategy, and most important, analytics needs always to be there. Okay? So, if I have a new business strategy, you can see there's quite a front load on the awareness channels. Awareness meaning, here I am, I'm selling this product, please talk to me, right? If I go to a basket abandoner strategy or efficiency strategy, you can see that it moves a bit more down to the belly, right? So there's other channels that are more important, for example, social media Or, for example, affiliate marketing and real-time advertising goes down a little bit because I want to create efficiency, and efficiency is not necessarily always showing a video or a pretty picture. It's about how does this guy convert? How do I make these people convert? And last but not least, the existing customers, we see that we have really big feet all of a sudden, right? A lot of email marketing, but very, very targeted. A lot of social media interaction on the wall, targeting specifically users that fit to the profile or have been my customer before. A lot of CRM is necessary here. And not so much display anymore. We still do a lot of real-time advertising, but very, very targeted in very small audiences. So what I want to show there is for each of your goals, there will be a different digital strategy. And I'm not saying only I can invent that, everybody can invent that. Put yourself into the shoes of your customers and try to understand what they might want. So let's make some advertising examples. I've got 3 cases. I don't want to talk about them too long because I'm running out of time otherwise. So there's one, it's a German travel brand. It's an online pure player created by a big travel company. And their strategy was they wanted to win market share. They were pretty big on TV, but they were not well known in the digital space in that particular generation. Their typical audience was above 45, right, or their buyers, and they wanted to attract some other buyers. So we made a nice mix of real-time advertising, pay-per-click, and social media ads, and we got quite a nice success. The cost per sale dropped massively, 50%, and we created some nice new brand awareness. The cost per acquisition was still much higher, the cost per booked travel was still much higher than they knew from their efficient search engine advertising campaigns that were purely on sale, but we created also an uplift in brand awareness, and that was the target. Another one is another travel brand, or let's say it's a hotel chain, Accor Hotels, with multiple brands that are well known in all around the world actually, and here we had an efficiency project, right? They wanted to increase their revenues, at the same time cut down their cost per acquisition, and we did that by focusing a lot on cost per click, because their cost per click campaigns, their CPC AdWords campaigns weren't great. A lot of SEO, because their traffic is literally for free if you do it right. But SEO done with a lot of content and creative ideas. And then social media ads as well. And last but not least, most of you will not know that brand. It's the 3rd biggest telecommunication company in France. It's a big CRM client of ours. It's a loyalty project. They have a lot of customers, but they want to make sure when a new weird handset from this fruit company comes out, right, that a lot of people stay with them instead of switching to free or some other provider. So we're having a massive email campaign here, and we're sending out, I think, 600,000 emails or something like that a month, really targeted to tiny, tiny audiences with a very specific approach. We have another client, T-Mobile, and I have a big project with them right now to integrate a CRM and data management platform with them, because I told them if I buy an iPhone, now I said it, if I buy an iPhone from you, and right after that, for the next 6 months, you're giving me ads about the newest iPhone, I get frustrated, right? I don't want to see an iPhone ad when I just bought an iPhone. Why don't you use the basic information that I'm already a customer, that I already have an iPhone, to give me, I don't know, a battery charger pack as an ad, or whatever, a shell for the phone, or something else, an up my data plan ad. Why don't you do that? Yeah, because we can't connect this IT system with that IT system. I say, but you will lose the client because he gets frustrated. So really simple things that annoy your customers today, you can delete that very easily from my perspective. And that has to be thought of. Okay. Let's make some more general examples. And this is now not necessarily advertising driven, but I want to shake the system a little bit by saying something like that. And all of you know Uber, obviously. Yeah? It's massively funded, 12 billion evaluation, crazy, 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 crazy. And I'm using it all the time now in London, right? Why are they, they're not financially successful, but why do people love this service? Because it's good quality, it's as cheap as a taxi, right? And it's there when you need it. And you don't have to stand on the street waving, right? Like crazy. And then you realize, oh, I'm in Dublin, the light has to be green to be free. Every city is different. So you can just use the app. But this is massive because it disrupts a super fragmented market with taxi companies all over the world, and it will destroy them from my perspective, right? It will replace most of the taxi industry. And why? Because these guys have not thought about their customers. As I said, I have to travel to Paris every week. Have you been in a taxi in Paris? It's lots of fun. These guys are on 2 phones at the same time, driving with their leg, right? And when you say, stop, 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 they yell at you, shut up. Unbelievable. I had the worst experiences. It's really funny. And since then, I'm only using these kind of services because you get a water bottle. Do you want to charge your phone? Yes, of course I want to charge my phone, right? So it's disruptive. So think about if somebody breaks with the existing rules in your industry and says, no matter IT system, people thinking like that, if I would have to start it from scratch without knowing this industry at all, what would I do? What does my consumer want? It's the same with this. It's a company you will not know. It's as well, I don't want to advertise for my investments, but I invest in them because I believe in them. So these guys do nothing else. They will build 160 shops around the world scanning people. And you would think, why would I scan myself? It's a 3D scanning technology they created, and they have patented it. So they scan people. Why would I go there and scan myself? Because you get a nice figurine you can give to the grandparents and say, see, it's me printed out in 3D. People even pay for that. And I told them when they approached me, because they wanted some consultancy on how to set up their business and stuff, and they told me, yeah, we make these 3D figurines of you and you pay 400 euros for that. I said like, nice, but I don't need it. But you know what? I would like to have all the data from your scan. And then I asked them, how do you do it? And they said, yeah, we have 36 high-definition cameras. And I asked them, so could you say that I'm a large or a medium-sized sweater? Like, is this large or medium-sized? They say, I can tell you immediately. I can tell you your body mass index. I say, like, this is what we have to invest into. It's data. Because if I can scan 1 million people and make that data accessible to e-commerce and say, okay, you all know Zalando, I guess, right? If I can sell that to Zalando and they reduce their return rate by 10%, they make millions. So what are we doing here is we collect data to avoid inefficiency. And you will love it because you don't have to send the stuff back and it will fit you. That would be great. So we're doing a test with a big shoe retailer, Deichmann, where we have asked these guys if they can alter their cameras to measure the shoe size when they do the scan. And they can. So basically, you will never go wrong with your shoe size anymore. It's amazing. We're still in a setup phase. We have 2 shops up and running, and we will be 160 shops. And then, last but not least, what I really think is very important, because we talked about the internet being huge and big data and all this kind of stuff, there's a lot of data out there. And people, if you're honest, I mean, there is some studies. I didn't research them. I'm a lazy person because I like curated information. But I saw a study, I remember it, that everyone on our smartphone is a heavy user of maybe 10 apps, 10 applications, and the rest is somewhere ignored. And it's the same for websites. We have 10 websites that we surf on every day, every week, and sometimes if we get a link, I've never been on Huffington Post before, it was so famous on Facebook that everybody shared it and liked it, but you know, you have a set of certain pages and a set of certain apps you use every day. Why? Because they curate information for you. It's not really in our DNA, I think, my thesis, that we search the web if we don't have a purpose to search it, if we don't have a goal why we are searching it. So we stick to what we know. It's also why people don't try new bakeries if they're happy with one. They stick to what they like. They stick to what they know. And that's what people do. And that's why curating information is massive. Because if you create a comfort zone for your customers and be the center, the platform to give them information from all ends on that particular topic, you will be the one-stop shop for them, even if you don't sell the product. Right? And that's what Amazon is doing. They're creating marketplaces everywhere because they want to make sure that you stay with them and not go somewhere else. Okay, so key to these results is that is something that you already own. No matter if you're looking for efficiency, awareness, or loyalty, knowing your customers is key to success from my perspective. Understanding your own goals, as well as shaking your business model for digital, and then developing your own individual digital strategy and combine the data you have with curated individual messages for your consumers. I think that is where digital is going, and that's the digital trend. It will bring you happier customers who will ideally order more product. And that is then, in the end, what we all want. The good news is Google and Facebook are helping with that. Obviously not for free, but sometimes for free. For example, analytics, and basic analytics version is for free, and it helps you to do a lot. We always advise to run analytics as well as your normal tracking technology, because you get a lot of insights and everything is connected. So ask these guys for help, because they give you a lot of help. Obviously, they want to make money. That's why they're here as well. But you have to have the decision in the end, how long you want to give them that information, for example, for free. But we tend to use Google and Facebook a lot for that. Okay, put your customers in the center of your day-to-day attention and you will succeed. That is basically my message for today. And as you know, this journey is only 1% finished. Thank you very much.